Hello, my name is Alfredo Jaar. I was born in Chile and live and work in New York. I was formed as an architect and consider myself an architect that makes art. For an architect, context is everything. What is the context in which we live today? Of course, COVID-19 is and has been the most important global issue for the last 15 months. Today, some countries are seeing the light and are about to return to normal thanks to vaccines. Others are facing the heights of despair. Sadly, more than 100 countries have had no access to vaccines, and we are witnessing the tragic and intolerable spectacle of vaccine apartheid. We should forcefully demand that intellectual property rights and technology be immediately transferred to increase world production of vaccines so they can reach every country in the world.
Join us! Don't just watch us, join us! Don't just watch us, join us!
2 years ago, a 16-year-old girl spoke to the World Economic Forum in Davos. I still remember her powerful speech, and in particular these words. "Our house is on fire," she said. Never 5 words had such an impact worldwide. These words by Greta Thunberg still resonate in my brain every day. I look at the state of the world with despair and want to repeat out loud these words. Our house is on fire. It is clear that when politics have failed miserably, it is in science that we will find the answer. Science is saving us from COVID-19. Science is ready to save us from this climate emergency. As artists and cultural producers, we create models of thinking the world. Models that insist that our planet's resources are not infinite. Models that stress that exploitation is intolerable. Models that demand that we look beyond profits. Models that unambiguously denounce torture. Models that repeat again and again that yes, our house is on fire. Models that ask us not to lose hope. Models that break walls and barriers. And models that assert that hopefully it will be the new generations that will teach us to outgrow our madness.
The Gallery Climate Coalition was founded last year by a group of commercial gallerists and art industry professionals. We were hugely inspired by initiatives of artists and museums and determined to play our part to facilitate a greener and more sustainable art world.
We believe strongly that art is a fundamental human expression and as such vital in shaping and sharing a worldview for a sustainable future.
Our focus is very practical, to develop a meaningful response to the climate crisis for our particular sector in the absence of any widely accepted guidelines.
GCC is a non-profit, member-led, non-hierarchical organisation that promotes collaboration on environmental sustainability, but above all promotes effective action towards decarbonisation.
Our primary goal is to provide tools to help reduce our sector's carbon footprint by at least 50% by 2030, in line with the Paris Agreement.
To help our members achieve this mission, we have developed a unique carbon calculator specifically for galleries, artists, and art businesses. It allows for effective monitoring of carbon emissions. It's simple to use and completely free.
Measuring carbon and taking responsibility for it as individuals, businesses and communities is an essential step towards sustainability. From there we can make adjustments to reach our reduction targets.
By following the guidelines and resources that we've developed with our subcommittees and regional groups in collaboration with climate advisors, we're confident members can reach targets as well as maintaining healthy businesses.
By aligning an international network of members on science-based, actionable targets, GCC can develop and implement best practices.
By forming a coalition and as our membership grows, GCC can offer leadership on environmental issues in our sector to achieve major systemic change.
Sometimes the challenges we face seem insurmountable, but by working together, by pooling resources and expertise, both at the local and global scales, we can achieve a smoother and faster transition to a more sustainable future.
Hello, I'm Frances Morris, Director of Tate Modern. I'm going to speak to you about culture's potential to support and guide us through a period of global planetary crisis. Before COVID-19, Tate's 8 million visitors were driving a huge 80% of our carbon emissions. Since last April, with international travel on hold, 18 million visitors from all over the world have showed up on our website. Our social media platforms welcomed over 500,000 new followers, totaling a global audience of 11 million, making Tate the most followed cultural account in the UK and second in the world only to MoMA, and all without a single flight being taken. The pandemic imposed privations and restrictions on personal and public life, but digital activity opened the door into people's homes, encouraging diverse new audiences, fostering communities of interest over vast geographical distances. We have seen evidence of deepening connections driven by the desire to learn, to respond, to be heard by digital means. Digital activity has liberated our programs from conventions and hierarchies rooted in a century of institutional history. A virtual studio visit to Jade Farojumtimi, the youngest artist in Tate's collection, was attended by over 200,000 visitors. Our most successful virtual performance was generated by Coralie, a company of dancers with learning disabilities, for an audience of over 500,000 viewers. And with schools closed, we've had 1,400% increase in activity on our kids platform. Thousands of children from every continent have made and uploaded their own work to Tate Paint, a vast open exhibition of global scope, enjoyed by over 3.3 million viewers. Since their inception, museums have been, by definition, guardians of a unique physical experience of art. COVID-19 has taught us that art's magnetic appeal is equally alive in the digital realm, where we've witnessed at first hand culture's power to connect with, communicate with, and palliate individuals close by and far away. As the world begins to understand COVID-19 as just one step change in the gathering storm of climate and ecological emergency, what can we learn and take from this period of digital transformation? Can we now finally recognize and begin to mobilize culture's potential in shaping the necessary societal changes required not just to survive, but also thrive in a changing world?
My name is Luise Faurshou, and I'm the founder and director of Art 2030, the non-profit organization connecting art and the United Nations' 17 global goals for sustainable development. Having worked with world-renowned artists for many years, I know that art can visualize the invisible, make clear the most complex issues of our time, and move people's hearts and minds to take real and impactful actions to change the course of our world. Because art can capture attention, stimulate imagination, and inspire action. Since our founding, following the establishment of the 2030 Agenda, Art 2030 has worked with some of the strongest voices from the art world: artists, galleries, museums, auction houses, and more. And we have seen firsthand that large-scale art projects like Breathe With Me and Soleil Levant can shift perspectives. We've seen growing interest from policymakers, scientists, and theorists to partner and co-create with artists and art to scale their messages. We've seen a keen interest across the art world to support and contribute to the sustainable development of our shared futures. There is an enormous transformative potential in the art sector, and despite the hardship of the pandemic, this last year has exemplified the determination and innovation of the art sector. Art museums across the planet continue to bring life-enriching experiences to their communities in new ways. Art businesses have adopted quickly to the non-physical space. Organization and alliances has been established to explore new sustainable practices, and artists as ever continue to push the boundaries of the way we look at our world. At the core of Art 2030's belief is that art and culture has immense potential to transform and accelerate the implementation of the 2030s Agenda and its 17 global goals. Today, the support of the art sector at all levels of society is more important than ever. Support through dedicated endorsement, long-term funding, interdisciplinary collaboration, and continued dialogue is vital to better bridge our worlds to work together for a shared goal. Bringing art and artists to the negotiators' table can accelerate the change we need in this decade of action. Only together can we work to create a strong and safe planet where we leave no one behind.
Hi, this is Takashi from teamLab. We teamLab founded on 2001, and we teamLab is on art collectives of bunch of its specialists, such as its programmers and engineers and CG animators, mathematicians, and its the architects. We teamLab believe that the digital domain can expand art, and that digital art can create new relationships between peoples. We teamLab aims to explore the relationship between the self and the world, and the new perceptions through the art, in order to understand the world around us. teamLab seeks to transcend this boundary in our perception of the world, of the relationship between the self and the world. Everything exists, the borderless continuity of life. Today, even if there is a problem of this other side of this earth or the world, it's going to affect it to our life or its cities. We are connected. It is no longer possible to live on one's own. The pandemic made it very clear that humans are only a part of the earth. We individually exist, yet together create something larger. The world seems to be divided more and more. But in the course of the human history, divisions has never solved our problems. Instead, we should do something to connect with one another and face the situations. The world seems to be in search of the right answers, but are we thinking about the right question to begin with? The only thing that artists can do is to pose the questions to the world and create an opportunities to look at the world. The power of art may seem weak in these situations, but we believe that art can reach its people's emotions, like their sense of beauties. We just find more important to create a world than criticize the world. Life without a boundary is beautiful. That is a concept of our creativities and our question to the world. Thank you very much.